Could you speak to the current polarity in society, the C thing? Populism. I don't know what populism is. V, the big V, that gives you a prick. Yes or no? It is something that makes me deeply fearful, and I wonder how to approach this from a non-dual mind. Thank you, Catherine. Thanks, Catherine. I have to just use code words. I'm sure I'll forget and just say them, because YouTube have algorithms that go through videos afterwards, and they're looking for flag words, and those words are big flag words, and I don't want to get flagged. Ooh. Okay. I don't know what you mean by popularism. Should I just quickly Google it? Google popularism. Populism refers to a range of political stances that emphasize the idea of the people and often juxtaposes this group against the elite or the establishism. Populism. Okay. I see. I see. This is what Ramesh Balsakaras used to say. I see. And he would be on his rocking chair. I used to go and visit Ramesh when he was alive in Mumbai. I see. Yeah, baby, yeah, you see. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? The whole thing. People versus the elite. It's like this age-old dilemma since we became civilized and started keeping animals and living in one place, is how to organize ourselves. How do we organize ourselves? And there's always this fight between the left and the right, the communism, the center, or the right. And there's this spectrum, and then people sit on the spectrum and everyone thinks their side is the best side. It'd be so amazing if we had something outside of that spectrum. I feel like the only way to change society is through love. And that is the integration, so the recognition of non-duality and then the integration into that personal life. And so it has to come from an internal feeling that we will feel. Like, yeah, everyone just really feels that love and that deep rest. I don't know how quickly that can evolve, though. Yeah. I don't think there is any right or wrong. Like, I'm not left or right. I would have before maybe named myself as more like central left. Left central, like not communist, but not right either. Oh, now I don't know. The more and more I learn about politics and here, I'm like, oh, far out. It's so complex. I really don't know what is the best. Yeah. How do we organize ourselves? I think the most important part is just to love thy freaking neighbor. And if you're doing that, then that's absolute political activism. That's like the best political activism you can have. It's better than anything, just to love your neighbor. Really love them. Not love them as in like because they bring you pleasure, but love them for no reason. Love them for nothing, just as they are completely. And to do that is the recognition that who they are is the consciousness is the same looking as what's looking out of your eyes. Really love them. And just see in yourself your harsh judgments. Like I suppose I'm in the realm of being hardly judged because I've not had the prick of the big V. And that's quite acceptable in spiritual circles, but it's really not acceptable in society. And I feel people's hard judgments. Yeah. And it's just like you never know. Like you never know. Like the reason that someone gets the big V or the reason that someone doesn't get the big V is totally personal in a way, down to that particular body-mind mechanism. And it is their perfect dance, whatever they do. It's so perfect. I'm not a fan of pharmaceutical companies, primarily because of what they do to animals, but that doesn't mean anything. That's just what comes out of this body-mind. If it feels right for you, that is your perfect dance. And even if it doesn't feel right and you still do it, that is your perfect dance. Absolutely beautiful and divine. It's love expressing itself. So whichever side you are, you don't know. Like my experiences is that I grew up in a family with two people that were very ill. So in my childhood, I spent a lot of time visiting people in hospital. And I saw a lot of medical malpractice, a lot of, cruelty. I know they were trying to help in the end, but I'll give an example of one. Was my gran had a hole in her leg. She had a knee replacement, it went wrong, so she had a hole in her leg. And what that means is it's an open wound. And it never would heal, so she had to have a bag attached to it for all the pus and ooze to come out. It was really gross. She lived with me when I was growing up. And the hospital used to take in my gran to give my mum respite. She was disabled. So she would go into hospital for like a week or 2 weeks to give my mum what they called respite. And this one time that she went in to have respite, the nurse was a young nurse, and she decided to unwrap my gran's wound and allow it to dry out. She had this idea that it would dry out if she unwrapped it. And if you're a maybe more experienced nurse, you'll know that's the worst thing that you can do to an open wound, because an open wound is like a beacon for infection. And in that hospital, they were rife with MRSA. And MRSA, you can look it up. I think that's how you call it. It's what I describe it as is like an internal gangrene. So it kind of like rots your body from the inside. That's maybe like a real bad way of describing it. But so my gran got MRSA, and then over the next 6 months she died from it, and it was a horrific death. And the hospital refused to take any responsibility for it. Eventually they did, so they refused to put it on her death certificate that it was FMRSA, even though it was obvious. They said it was like heart giving up or old age, I can't remember what it was. Because otherwise they could have been, that's what they did. And and then eventually my mum got an apology letter from the hospital for that. And I know that everybody's intention is good in that. Like, that nurse had good intentions. She didn't mean to do that. And it's also perfect. Like, that couldn't have been any other way. But it's experiences, and that is the tip of the iceberg. Like, it's experiences like that. Like, so because we had so much illness in my family, like going in and out of hospital, and there's many, many, many more like that, and worse ones than that I witnessed. I also witnessed loads of kindness and compassion and beauty and trying their best. But from these experiences, it put me really off allopathic medicine. Yeah, and as I got older and I got more into holistic medicines, I just really began to appreciate holistic medicine and looking at the body as a whole and including the mind and the way you think, the way you hold your body, like your attitude, also the whole of your body, so not just treating the symptom. Yeah, and so that sent me like those childhood experiences of spending a lot of my childhood in hospitals, watching people be ill. Then as I got older and got more into spirituality and then holistic medicine, like just really appreciating that perspective rather than like putting plasters on things. And that's one of my reasons that when I was younger, when I was in my 20s, I stopped taking the big V's and decided to do other ways of treating my body in order to make it prepared for diseases or viruses. And that doesn't mean that anyone that takes it is wrong. That's their story. So that's part of my story, but that's not the whole reason. The other reason is because my gut tells me to do that. And like it feels right. So I've got this story about allopathic medicine, but then also I've got the gut that just feels right in that choice. And that's what's right for me. It doesn't mean that I've got an intention to spread the virus or that I'm not compassionate to other people. Like totally the opposite. Like I feel so compassionate for other people, and I don't connect that in my brain with me not having the big V and then spreading it to other people at all. I just don't think it works like that. I have a different way of seeing viruses and illnesses. Yeah. Yeah, like I've been told that like I could kill my mother and all these types of things. But that's perfect, and that's perfect for me to experience that, and maybe I change my mind at some point and do it. Like I'm also open to that as well. And my life experience is part of the decision, and then the other part is this gut feeling as well. And that's the beauty. Each unique individual has that, whether it be pro it or not pro it. And that's so beautiful. And that's part of really loving. Like that's an effect of really knowing who you are on a deeper level. I'm not saying that I don't act old karmas and old traumas, like that happens, but it's also part of this. When you really know who you are, then these things flow through you as beauty. And if it means that I am to get the big C and to perish from that, that's so perfect. It's not that's what I want, but that's so perfect. That is the way of it. I don't feel that happens. I feel like I won't get it and I won't spread it. That feels very strong here. Yes, but who knows? And that gives room to, like, it's not like I have these ideas and these beliefs and I think they are right and I must push that onto everyone else. I see that everyone has their divine, unique beauty that needs to be expressed. And so when one friend who's older and has heart problems says they're going to get the vaccination, not heart problems, they had blood pressure problems, and they feel they're going to get it and they've had great experience with vaccines before, I feel like, yeah, that's right for you. Yeah, baby, yeah. It's not always so comfortable then having them come back and be like, because you don't do it, but yeah. So that's my experience. Like, if you really want to do the most radical political activism there is, to really change society, love your neighbor. Like one of the 10 commandments, love thy neighbor like yourself, as if they are you, as if they are yourself. Yes, baby. Oh God, I wonder what the comments in YouTube are now. There is no C. It's all conspiracy. There is, see, that's conspiracy, 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 anti-vaxxers conspiracy, this conspiracy, bad, 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 yes, love, love, love. And all of that is divine, and that is their perfect dance. Thank you. I guess the fear comes from growing pressure to get the big V and being excluded from society if I don't. I really don't like being forced to do anything against my will, and the choice seems between being part of social life and go against my intuition or violate my intuition in order to be. It's all perfect. Yeah, I might go against it as well because of travel. Like, I live in a different country from my mother. She's not in the EU anymore because of Brexit. Although I shouldn't really say Brexit because that's another flag word. Brexit. Who voted for Brexit? Anybody on the talk? Out. Out. I'm joking. My parents both voted for Brexit. Yeah. I really don't like being forced into doing anything against my will, and the choice seems between being part of social life and going against it. Yeah, it's perfect. It's okay also to go against your intuition and to do that. That's also okay. That happens so often to all of us, all the time. My intuition is to not eat the naughty foods or something, and then naughty foods get eaten. Not eat the cheese, and then the cheese gets eaten. You don't have to be perfectionists about it. And then you can look at the injury, if there is an injury, about being told to do things that you don't want to do. You can look at that feeling and feel that in the body. Remember to like the video, because that's how YouTube works, is that it promotes the videos that have likes, that have views, all these different things. So if you like the video, like it. People always forget to like the videos. So I feel like it's time I have to start reminding people. And also there is another channel that isn't run by me, is run by another guy called Osborne. And it's called Lisa Cairns video clips, maybe Osborne's channel, I'm not sure, something like this. You can find it linked to my channel, and it's edited clips of my talks. Yeah, so it's a really nice channel, and he labels it all nicely and puts it in playlists.